Hi, everybody. This video is part of our Trump Play of the Hand series, and this week's topic is promotion. So let's get ourselves started. So this is our second class in our Trump Play of the Hand series. We've already talked about one topic, establishing a long suit, and today we'll talk about the topic of promotion. So the first thing I want to remind you of is that there is a plan that you should follow as declarer to work through a process on how you play a trump hand. And in our first class, we talked about that concept of making a plan, and it's a 5-part plan. We start with part 1, which is gathering your first thoughts. You are going to ask yourself 2 questions. How many tricks do I need to make my contract? And how many tricks can I afford to lose and still make my contract? It's really important that you ask yourself those 2 questions. Now, from there, you're going to move on to your second step. Your second step is to try and win an early, reasonable trick. You want to win trick 1 if you can. Now, you might not always be able to, but at this point of your bridge career, if you can win trick 1, win it. As you're winning trick 1, though, you want to look at both sides of the table and see if it matters which card you win it with. You might have more than one option. And so you have to think about the bigger picture. Do I have to make sure I have a winner on one side of the table or another later in the hand? I want to make sure I keep that good card there and win on the other side. But you cannot always win the first trick. But if you cannot win the first trick, you really should ask yourself, based on the opening lead, and when I logically assume the opponent is holding because of that lead, when do I think I will win a trick so I can start my plan? Is it going to be trick 2 or trick 3? So you want to start putting that together. Now, after you win your first reasonable trick, your first job is to pull the opponent's trump from them. Even if you don't have all the high cards, at this point of your bridge career, you're not doing anything else that's fancy. Get the kids off the street. Take the trump out of the opponent's hand so they cannot harm you later in the hand while you're trying to work some magic on a suit that needs extra attention. Don't let them interfere with trump in their hand. Take it away from them as your very first job. Then the 4th step is where we spend most of our time in this series. You look around at the entire hand. You're likely going to need to use one or more techniques to develop extra tricks out of one or more of your side suits. Side suits are the non-trump suit. So you want to look around and see what can you do to maybe squeeze an extra trick or 2 here or there. We're talking about 3 techniques in this series. We talked about establishing a long suit in our first class. Today, we'll talk about promotion, and in a future class, we'll talk about the simple finesse. Now, after you've worked on a suit, or maybe sometimes more than one suit, and squeezed a little extra set of winners out of those, then you're ready to just take your remaining winning tricks. All right? So that's your plan. Now, as I said, last class, we talked about establishing a long suit. What is a long suit? A long suit is when you hold 7 or more cards in one of your suits, and it's usually a minor suit. If you had a long major suit, it probably is your trump suit, right? But it could be the other major. That's entirely possible. Now, holding 8 or more cards in a suit is even better than just a 7-card suit. The opponents have significantly fewer cards in each of their hands in a suit that you hold than when it's long. And therefore, it's easier for you to set up and take extra winners in a long suit if the opponents are going to run out of that suit early. Right? Now, you play a long suit even if you didn't have all of the high honors. You play it and play it, forcing the opponents to follow suit. And that's true even if you have to lose 1, 2 tricks while you're playing this long suit, because in short order, the opponents will be void. And any extra cards you still have in that long suit are automatically winners, because the opponents will not have any more cards in the suit. And remember, you pulled trump. they cannot trump you when they run out of cards. So this is intended to squeeze extra cards out of a long suit, extra winners. And that's what we talked about in our first class. Now, I'm not going to spend time going over that concept, but it does require a certain amount of patience. It requires a certain amount of concentration and determination. Your lecture packet from this week has several examples of last week's establishing a long suit. So go ahead and take a look at those again, just to focus yourself on what we did in our last class. Today's class, we want to focus on the second technique called promotion. Now, promotion becomes a possibility as a tool when the declare looks at both declare hand and dummy hand and sees that there's a suit that has connected honors in a row, but is missing the highest honor, or sometimes two high honors, but you have the middle honors, right? So for instance, if you looked at my screen here, in this club suit on the left, I don't have the ace of clubs, but I have the king, the queen, the jack, and the 10. That's very nice. I have good, strong, midland honors, but I don't have the ace. In this diamond suit here on the screen, I am missing the ace and the king. But I have the queen, the jack, the 10, and I have a fourth card, the 8. In this heart suit, I have two connected honors. I'm missing the ace, but I might be able to make one of these honors good using promotion. And in this last example, it might look like it's not very helpful, but while you are missing the ace, the king, and the queen of spades, if you were able to push them out, those three honors out, using your whatever high or middle honors you have, you would end up with extra length and promotable cards remaining in the suit. Okay, so let's take that apart and talk about that in more detail. How do you recognize and then develop a promotable suit? So you have these suits here across the top that have varying amounts of middle honors. You are missing the highest honor or honors, right? But you have good connected middle honors. Now, one of the things that you don't see here that you should understand, I'm just showing you all of the connected honors on one side of the table. It's entirely possible that when you look at this club suit, you might have, say, the king and the queen on one side of the table and the jack and the 10 on the other side of the table with some extra cards in between, as well. So you might even have 6 cards in total in the club suit, but the honors are distributed between the two hands, declare and dummy. They don't all have to be on one side, right? That's the same with all of these. You have to learn to recognize when you have a running connected group of honors between the two hands. I've put them here in one hand as we're talking about this, just to make the visual easier, okay? But they are connected honors, either together all on one side of the table or broken up between the two sides of the table. So you have good middle honors. You might even have some really decent spot cards. What are spot cards? Spot cards are the cards that are not ace, king, queen, jack, and 10. Those are the honor cards, but 9 down to 2 are the spot cards. So if you look at the diamond suit here, you've got the 8, which is a nice spot card. In this spade suit, you have the 9, which is a nice spot card. Now, your job, declare, here is to try and create winners with these middle honors using this promotion tool. You've got to get the missing high cards out of the way, out of the opponent's hand as early as you can. Force the opponents, if possible, to play those missing high cards in order for you to set up the rest of the cards in the suit. And you should do this immediately after you pull the trump from the opponents. This is the 4th step in your plan, developing extra tricks. So this 4th step is done immediately after you pull the opponent's trump. Now, it's important as you're thinking about promotion for you to have a sense of how long to play the suit to get what you want. And by that, I mean you should have an idea of how many tricks you think you can squeeze out of the suit using promotion. So let's look at this club suit up here. You're missing the ace. How many club winners do you think you could promote out of this suit if you could get the opponents to play the missing high card, the ace? Well, I think you can get 3 winners out of this suit. You have to use one of these cards, playing it to force an opponent to play the ace, to capture one of your cards. And let's say you led the king and they play the ace. That would immediately promote your jack, your queen, your jack, and your 10 to winner status. The next time you get on lead, you can play the queen, jack, 10, and they are automatically winners. Now remember, you've pulled trump before you do this. Therefore, they cannot trump you while you're doing it. But you play a high card, the king, they play the ace, your queen, your jack, and 10 are immediately promoted to the next winners in that club suit. Let's look at the diamond suit. You're going to have to play this suit twice, and you're going to have to give the opponent something they want. They have the ace and the king. You're going to have to play the queen to push out the ace. You're going to have to play the jack to push out their king. But once you do that, losing twice, then you're going to be able to promote your 10. It is automatically the next winner. And because you have a 4-card suit, it is entirely possible that by the time you play diamonds the 4th time, this 8 of diamonds is the only diamond left in anybody's hand. It might also be a winner, assuming the opponents have run out of diamonds by the 4th round. So you want to check for that. It might be a winner. Let's take a look at this heart suit. How many winners do you think you might reasonably squeeze out of this heart suit using promotion? Well, I think you're only really going to get one. You're going to have to use one of these honors to push out their ace, and that will make the other honor here a winner. It'll be promoted to a winner the next time you get the lead. Now, I don't think this 10 is going to stand up. It looks like it might, but it probably won't. So don't count on it, even though you should watch when the opponents do play their hearts. Now, what about this spade suit? This doesn't look very happy, does it? But again, your job is to use your middle honors to force the opponents to play their higher honors. So on this hand, I'm hoping to squeeze out 2 promoted honors at the end. How would that work? Well, I'm going to play the jack to push out their ace. I'm going to play the 10 to push out their king. I'm going to play the 9 to push out their queen. And then their honors will be gone. By that time, it's really unlikely that anybody has any spades left in their hands. And your 2 remaining spades here, the 7 and the 2, are promoted to winners. And when you regain the lead from the opponents, you go ahead and cash those 2 spade winners that you've worked hard to promote. So the general idea is that you're using your middle honors to push out higher honors from the opponents. Now, how do you know which of these cards you should use to actually entice the opponent to play their higher honor? Well, have you ever had to give a pill to a dog? Or probably even a cat. I don't know. I don't have cats, but I've always had dogs. And I know that when I give a pill to a dog that my dog does not want, I have to give them something they want with it. Okay. And so what I usually would do is look in the fridge and let me see what kind of snack I have in the fridge. I might have leftover steak and I might have leftover zucchini. Now, zucchini's not bad, but Fido wants steak, right? They want something good. Now, if you owned the king, the queen, the jack, and the 10 of clubs, they actually have the exact same value, don't they? The 10 is exactly the same value as the king. Why? Because there's no gap. There's no missing card in between the king, the queen, the jack, and the 10. They all have the exact same value. But if you use the 10 to try and push out the opponent's ace, they're not going to be quite sure what's going on. They're going to say to themselves, I wonder if my partner has the king or the queen of this suit. The 10 has the same value as the king, but it doesn't have the same pizzazz. It doesn't have the shiny factor. If I were going to promote this club suit with the king, the queen, the jack, and the 10, I'm using the king. That's the stake here. The 10 is zucchini. Use the king because you want to watch the opponent's little eyes light up. When they have the ace of clubs, they want something good for that ace. They want to take something away from you. And when you show them your king, that's going to make their eyes light up. They're going to be thrilled to play their ace, right? They want to play their ace and take away your king. The 10 would work logically, but it doesn't work psychologically. Give them something that they want If you want them to do something for you, play the king. Does that make sense? So let's say that you hold this king, queen, jack, 10 of clubs, and you choose the king to promote this suit. You lead the king bravely. If the opponent, an opponent, does play the ace, well, actually, that's fantastic. You intended them to do that. You intended to lose your king to their ace. That was your intention. That's what you wanted. Because then the opponent has removed that obstacle, and your queen, your jack, and your 10 of clubs are now immediately promoted to winner status. Yes, it is true. The opponent has won the trick with the ace of clubs, but you haven't done anything else with any of your other cards. All you did was pull trump and then lead this king of clubs. You still have sure winners in other suits. The opponent is on lead now with the ace of club winner, but because you still have sure winners, the opponent will make a lead that you can win back. And when you get the lead back, now you get to play your queen of clubs, your jack of clubs, your 10 of clubs. Those are 3 promoted winners that you set up, that you developed. All right. You were brave and they played their ace. And now you have promoted winners in clubs, 3 of them. Now, what if the opponent doesn't play the ace when you play your king of clubs? They're being sneaky, aren't they? If they're holding the ace of clubs and you play a king, they're going to figure out pretty quickly what you're doing, right? They're going to figure out that you want their ace. They don't have to make it easy for you, and they don't want to make it easy for you. It's entirely possible that the opponent who holds the ace of clubs will duck. They will duck when you play the king. What does that mean? That means they won't play the ace. They'll play low. They'll play low. Why? Why? Well, because they want to confuse you. They want to cause you to worry. And when they play low, they will allow your king to win right now. So essentially what they've done is they have promoted your king to a winner on this trick. Your king just became one of the 3 club winners you're expecting to get. They made that happen by not playing their ace. They want you to fidget. They want you to worry. They want you to maybe stop going after the clubs. They want to make life, you're expecting them to play the ace, and when they don't, they're hoping that causes you to panic a little bit, but don't panic. You're on a mission. You want to get 3 club winners out of this suit. They did not play the ace when you played the king. They made your king a winner by promoting it right now. What do you do next? Lead the queen of clubs. Lead the queen of clubs. Maybe they'll play their ace then. If they do play their ace, yes, they win the trick and they took your queen with it. But your king was already a winner. They promoted it. And then after they win their ace, when you play the queen, your jack and your 10 will become promoted winners as well. You will win 3 club tricks, the king, the jack, the 10. You will have to regain the lead from the opponents, but then you will cash your jack and 10 of clubs. They will have been promoted to winners. All right. So they won't always play the ace right away. And in fact, maybe they shouldn't. But your job on this hand is to get 3 club winners. If you play the king and they play their ace right away, fantastic. The queen, the jack, and the 10 are promoted to winners. If you play the king and they don't play the ace, the king was just promoted. If you play the queen and they don't play their ace, well, now your king and your queen were promoted by the opponents. If you then play your jack and they still don't play the ace, although they really should, but let's say they don't. Here's what just happened. Your king was promoted and became a winner. Your queen was promoted and became a winner. Your jack was promoted and became a winner. Should you play that 10? No. You were only going to get 3 club tricks out of this suit. That's why it's good for you to know how many tricks you're expecting to get when you start to promote a suit. Because once you've gotten that jack, you have taken your 3 club winners. They were all 3 promoted by the opponents who chose not to play their ace. Don't play the 10 now. Move on to something else. You're not going to win that 10. Why make it easy for them now to let them take their ace of clubs later. All right. So your job is to take 3 club tricks, for instance, in this particular example. Now, let me talk to the opponents as well. let me talk to the opponents as well. Opponents, you're on defense. When should you play the ace that you know declare is trying to fish out of your hand? When should you play that ace? Well, I'm going to tell you that it's going to take you a while as a bridge player to become good at counting cards in the player's hands. That is something that very experienced players can do to some extent. They start right in the auction, actually. They can actually do this from the beginning of the auction. They can start figuring out, oh, well, if she bid a spade, she has 5 of those. I have 3. Where are the other 5? They start doing that from the play of the hand. They also can start doing it from the moment of the opening lead. Oh, she's leading a king. That means she has a queen. And that means I have this. And that probably means they have that. And I can see this in dummy. There's a whole lot of possibilities that experienced card players can start to figure out from the auction and then just from the beginning of a play of a hand. Now, we're not there yet, are we? No, we're not there yet. We're not going to be there for a long time. So for us, for the non-experts, non-card counting players among us, how do we figure out when to play that ace that the opponents are fishing for? I can give you a general guideline, but it's really kind of abstract and I cannot be clear about it because it has to come with time. It has to come with you becoming stronger at being able to count cards, if that's something that's going to be your forte. To be perfectly honest, I'm only mediocre at it. Numbers don't stay in my head very well. My husband, Alan, is incredibly good at it. He is a numbers guy. He can juggle all kinds of numerical things in his head and probabilities all the time. But I'm not him. So what do I have to keep in mind and what would I suggest to you? If when they lead the suit for the first time, let's say they led that king of clubs, if for some reason, maybe even from the auction or somehow or another, you think that the declare is leading the king of clubs as a singleton, then you should play the ace right now. If you think when the opponent, the declare, after pulling trump, led the king of clubs, they're probably looking for promotion. If you have the ace, yeah, that's what they're doing. If you think that king of clubs is a singleton, play your ace of clubs right now. But it's usually not. That's not usually why they lead a king of clubs. They don't usually lead a singleton king. It just doesn't happen that way. There's no reason for them to do it. But, so I would tell you not to play the ace the first time you see that, when they play the king. But if you think the declarer is trying to promote that suit, you know, you're holding the ace and they played the king, don't play the ace on the first round. Hold up, duck. I will tell you that at this point in your bridge career, maybe you play at the second round. Are there times when you wait and played on the third round? Yeah, but I'm not going to go into the weeds about how you figure out how to count that. That comes with time. Right now, the opponents lead the king of clubs and you hold the ace, they're searching for your ace. Don't play the ace on the first round. Wait till the declarer plays the queen of clubs, the second round. Then go ahead and take your high card, all right? Let's work with that as a premise. All right, we're going to look at 2 hands. And let's see if we can illustrate how promotion works on those 2 hands. And these are the sample hands in your lecture PDF. Let's look at hand A. All right. In hand A, I will tell you that South is the declarer, and South is in a 4-heart contract. Don't know how they got there. We don't care. You're there, right, South? You have to try and make your contract. Now, the opening lead is by West, and West is leading the king of diamonds. So I want you to take a minute and think about, what does that opening lead mean, right? And now you're going to start to work your 5-step plan. Step 1, you're going to gather your first thoughts. This is where I tell you to take a deep cleansing breath and ask yourself 2 questions. How many tricks do you need to make this 4-heart contract? How many can you afford to lose and still make the contract? Got it? Well, I think you need to take 10 tricks to make the contract, right? Book plus 4. And I think you can afford 3 losers and still make the contract. And what happens when you articulate that for yourself is this: your blood pressure lowers. Hopefully you're not still sitting there going, oh no, I'm the declarer. What am I going to do? because you know you can lose 3 tricks and still make this contract. That takes some of the pressure off, all right? So now you can clear your head a little bit and start to work on the rest of your plan. So we should move on to step 2. Step 2 is winning an early, reasonable trick. So you look at the opening lead. It's the king of diamonds. That should also tell you that West has the card underneath it. West is leading top of touching honors when leading a king, or any honor for that matter. So West is promising the honor directly underneath that king of diamonds. West has the queen of diamonds as well. That's just a good piece of information for you. Now, South, can you win trick 1 if West has led the king of diamonds? Well, I think you can, because you own the ace of diamonds up here in North's dummy, and you can win trick 1. You do not have anything else in diamonds in your own hand. It's just that one good card in diamonds, the ace. And so I think that's your early reasonable trick, South. You should absolutely win trick 1 with North's ace of diamonds. You have a job to do. You have work to do. You need to get to it as quickly as possible. So I'm going to tell you that South is going to win the trick 1 with the ace of diamonds and play the 6 of diamonds from South's hand. So far, so good. And after trick 1, I have grayed out the cards that you've played. All right. I'll still leave them so that they're sort of faint, so that you can see it's a placeholder, but they have been played. Okay. So now you have worked through the first 2 steps in your plan. Let's move on to step 3 in your plan. That's pulling the trump from the opponents. You have 8 heart cards in your trump suit, right? You have 4 on one side of the table, 4 on the other. You have, the opponents have 5 cards to go opposite your 8 cards, and the opponents are going to likely split 3 cards in one opponent hand and 2 cards in the other. That's the usual split. That's the split you should count on. Now, that's going to mean that you should be able to pull their trump from them after you've played 3 rounds of trump. And you do have the 3 highest heart cards. So you should be able to play the ace, the king, and the queen. There is no high card from the short side here. They are equal length, 4 and 4. So it doesn't apply here. Otherwise, you would consider high card from the short side. No, you don't have that. If I were South, I would win the trick, 3 tricks here, with the ace, the king, and the queen of hearts. So you won trick 1 up here with the ace of diamonds. If I were South, I would probably play the king of hearts and put South's 5 on it. And then I would lead North's 6 of hearts down to South's ace. You're watching the opponents play, right? You're hoping for that 3-2 golden split. And if both opponents have now played twice, there's only 1 heart left in their hands, and you play the queen and the 9 in North. And yes, you should play that 3rd round if you can beat whatever trump they still hold. Absolutely. Take their trump from them if you can win the tricks. So now, after 4 tricks, this is what your North and South hands look like, right? You have some grayed out trump here, some grayed out trump here. So we've taken 4 tricks, and we have won all 4 of those tricks, right, South? So now we move on to step 4 of your plan, and this is the meaty part of your planning. The declare starts looking for how to squeeze extra tricks out of the rest of the suits, the side suits. And today, what you're looking for is a promotable suit. And if you look at North and South's hand, I think that you have a promotable club suit. See down here in South, King, Queen, Jack, 10. But it's actually also a longish suit, isn't it? You have 7 club cards between the 2 hands. So sometimes promotion and length actually combine in one suit. It's not that uncommon. It does happen. So you have a longish suit that you're going to try and establish just even through length. But while you're doing that, you are doing it in a certain way to push out the opponent's ace as early as possible. You're going to use promotion as a tool. So let's get started. How do we do this? I would leave those lovely spades alone. Take a look at them. Ace and king up here. Queen down here. Yes, they're winners. Don't touch them. They are sure winners. Keep them for a while. You're going to need them later. Number 1, you're going to need them to win the lead back, possibly, when the opponents do win that ace of clubs. You might even need them for transportation, getting from one side of the table to the other. Leave sure winners alone. Instead, you're going to work on your promotable suit until you've developed whatever extra promoted winners you're going to get in that suit. And that's the club suit. Now, how many tricks does South hope to promote to winner status in that club suit? Well, this is very much like the example we had a few minutes ago, right? I think South is expecting 3 club winners that she has to work to develop, right? You need to promote clubs to create those 3 extra winners. So trick 5. You have won the last trick, let's say in South's hand. And if you did win the last trick in South's hand with the heart trump, you can immediately start leading right in the clubs. If you won, depending on how you played your heart trump, if you won it up here in North, you would lead the 6 of clubs from North down to South clubs. But let's say that you won trick 4 with the ace or the queen of hearts when you were pulling trump. And now you're bravely going to play the king of clubs. Remember, you're dangling something shiny in front of the opponent, so they play the ace. So you play the king and you put the 6 on it in North. And let's assume that East and West do not play their ace of clubs. They are ducking this trick. They both play low. Why? Because they don't want to make it easy for South, right? They don't want to just hand over the ace and know that even though they cannot see South's hand, why else would South be leading the king of clubs? There's no good reason for South to lead a king unless they're searching for something. You know that North does not have the ace. The dummy doesn't have the ace. So South, you're saying to yourself, opponents, South is playing that king because my partner or I have the ace. They want it. Why should you make it easy? Maybe it will confuse South. Maybe South will panic, stop playing clubs, stop developing the suit, go start playing sure winners, and actually harm herself in the process. So don't make it easy. Not on the first round of club play. So East and West should duck this trick and play low. And when they do that, South's king of club wins the trick. It's the high card in the club suit. East and West have promoted the king of clubs for South. And now that's one of the 3 club winners that South is trying to earn in that suit. Okay, that was trick 5. And now you can see that I've grayed out those cards here on this side of the table. And this is what you have left. So now what happens next? Well, trick 6, South, you've got to keep going. You've got to keep promoting clubs. You play the queen of clubs and you put the 7 on it in North. And let's say that this time, East and West do play their ace of clubs. All right. They either do it because it's the second round and I told you to do it, but maybe they have to play the ace because it's the only other club they have. You don't know. Not yet. But they play their ace of clubs and they win the trick. Now, South, you're losing this trick, trick 6. East or West has just won this trick with the ace. But look at this. This jack and this 10 are the next 2 winning cards in clubs. They are now promoted to winner status. They will win tricks. They are now promoted. You've already gotten the king of clubs, and now you're going to get the jack and the 10 later. This is a game of endurance, right? So now on trick 7, this is what your hand looks like, and East and West are on lead. So I'm going to tell you that West is on lead, okay? West won the trick on trick 6 with the ace of clubs. Let's just assume that, okay? And you'll see a view of the full hand in your packet. But East and West, no matter whether it was West or whether it was East who won the ace of clubs, on trick 7, we know what suit they're going to lead, a diamond. Why? Take a look at the bottom of my screen. Wasn't that the opening lead suit by West? Whether West has won the trick with the ace of clubs or East won the trick with the ace of clubs, they're already concentrating on playing that diamond suit again because they assume that West's queen of diamonds is the next winner after the opening lead of the king. So they want to get it now. You know, we're already on trick 7. They want to start getting whatever they're worth now. So let's say that West won the last trick with the ace of clubs. West is going to lead the queen of diamonds now on trick 7. And you have to follow suit, South. You have to play the 10 in North. You have to play the 8 in South. You have to follow suit. And now this is what you have over here, right? This is what's remaining all throughout the 2 hands. You've got some spades left in both hands. You've got a heart trump in North. You've got a heart trump in South. You have these promoted clubs down here in the bottom of South, you still have a diamond in South, right? So this is what's remaining. What happens next? Well, West is on lead because West just won the Queen of Diamonds. What is West going to do next? Well, West is going to be a little flummoxed. West can now see a diamond void in North in dummy. Doesn't really want to lead into North's spade honors, right? Doesn't want to lead a club if he still has one because he knows that that's what South was trying to do, was set up clubs. Why help? And there are no more heart trump left in West's hand. So what is West going to do? He doesn't like any of the choices. This is an example of sometimes when the opponents make something called a passive lead. If I were West, I would probably lead another diamond, fully intending to knowing that South is going to trump it. You know, you can see the diamond void up here. This is a passive lead. What does that mean? It means you are leading a card you know South is going to declare is going to win. And by leading a diamond, West knows that South is pretty much going to trump this card. What that does is it forces a trump out of, in this case, it'll be North's hand, but I mean South by means of talking about him as a declarer. It's going to force a trump out of South's holding in the trump suit. Maybe what that does is it reduces the number of heart trump that South holds between the two hands. It also gives South the lead, which he was going to get anyway. No matter what West did on this hand, South was going to gain the lead in North or in South. But what it also does is for West, by leading a diamond, knowing it's going to be trumped, West is not taking any valuable cards out of East's hand in another suit, is not giving up any valuable cards in his own hand in another suit. It's basically saying, I'm going to lead a diamond that I know you're going to trump, South, but I'm not going to lead any of the other suits to help you take extra winners, and I'm not going to take any good cards out of my partner's hand in any of those suits either. All right, so let's just say West leads a diamond, and sure enough, South is going to win this trick by trumping it with the 10 of hearts in North and following suit with the diamond in South. So now South's declare hand has regained the lead by playing that trump card in North's dummy. And after trick 8, this is what we've got. What happens next? Well, South's on lead. South has gotten the lead up in North's dummy hand and has done the hard work of setting up 2 extra club winners through promotion. So now, South, you want to make sure that you get those promoted cards. So we're up to step 5 in your list. We're going to take the remaining true winners, including those promoted club cards. And honestly, South, you have winners all over the place here. There's more than one way that you could finish out this hand. There absolutely is. I'm going to show you the way that I'm going to do it. Just one suggestion, and I'm only doing it this way so you can see the value of the promotion. Let's say North has won the last trick, which was trick 8, in North with that 10 of hearts when she trumped the diamond lead by West. So now we're on trick 9, and North is, South's declare hand has the lead in North. What will South do now? If I were South, I would lead this 8 of clubs from North to the Jack of clubs in South. That's a promoted winner that South worked on. Yay. And then on trick 10, I'm going to cash this promoted 10 of clubs, and I'm going to discard a spade in North. This 4 of spades isn't going to help me, so I'm going to get rid of it. Nice, right? You have just cashed the 2 promoted clubs that you worked to set up. Now we're almost done. There are 3 cards remaining on each side of the table, and they are all winners. Can you see it? Can you see the winners? And actually, again, there's more than one way you could play these last 3 cards. I'll show you the way that I'm going to play it just because I like to be fancy. Are you ready? I'm going to lead on trick 11. The Queen of Spades. In this spade suit, this is high card from the short side. You have the ace, the king, and the queen of spades. The north side of the spade suit is longer than the south side. We cash the winner on the shorter side first. That's the queen. So I'm going to play the queen of spades in south and put the 8 of spades on it in north. And now I've won trick 11. What am I going to do on trick 12? Well, I'm still going to be fancy. I'm going to lead the 6 of spades in South's hand over to the ace of spades in North's hand. And now I'm up to the last trick, trick 13. I'm going to leave the king of spades, but honestly, the 8 of hearts, the final trump card in South, is actually going to be the thing that wins the trick. So how did you do on this hand? South only loses 2 tricks. South loses 1 club trick when East and West play that ace of clubs. And after they played that ace of clubs, West led the queen of diamonds from her opening lead suit, and we had to follow suit once. So we lost to that queen of diamonds. But after that, it was all smooth sailing. So South should be able to take 11 winning tricks. That's called making 5, right? 5 above book. And it's an over trick. South only had to take 10 tricks. Did you see the process on that one? Could you feel it? Let's look at just one more. Let's look at example B in your packet. On this hand, South is the declare in the 4 spades. How you got there doesn't matter. You're there. Let's see if we can take the 10 necessary tricks, right? The opening lead is by West, and it is the queen of hearts. Now stop and think, what would that opening lead mean? What else does West have? Ready to start your 5-step plan? Step 1. First thoughts, take a deep breath. How many tricks do you need? How many can you lose? Well, in 4 spades, the declarer needs 10 tricks to make the contract, and it could afford a 3 losers. So blood pressure lowering, right? So then we move on to step 2. Can you win the first trick? You want to win an early reasonable trick here. Now, West has led the queen of hearts. That also means that West has the jack of hearts. West is leading from top of touching honors. So now you know the queen of hearts is led and the jack of hearts is also sitting in West's hand. Take a look at your 2 hands, South. Your hand has the ace of hearts and North's dummy hand has the the king of hearts. Can you win this trick? Yes, you absolutely can. The question is how? How do you decide whether to play the king of hearts or the ace of hearts? All right, let's think this through. West has led that queen of hearts, right? And you own the ace and the king. This is going to be the early reasonable trick, trick 1. You're absolutely going to win trick 1, South, right? The question is, on which side of the table should you win this trick? And does it matter? Does it matter? It might. If you take a moment and look at both hands wholly, as a whole group of cards, one of the things I'm hoping you notice is that you have 2 longish suits. The diamond suit is 7 cards, and the club suit is 7 cards. You have 2 longish suits. But you also have promotion in both of those suits. You have 2 promotable suits. Now, as you look at this whole concept, you want to say to yourself, which of those suits is going to get me extra tricks? And do I need transportation later? Do I need the ability to win a trick on a specific side of the table later in the hand to make sure I get to those long cards? Well, I think that South should keep a heart winner on a particular side of the table for later. Which side of the table do you think? If you look well at these 2 long suits, I think you're going to want to get back to this diamond suit later. The club suit's also long, but it only has the king and the queen in it, doesn't it? The diamond suit has the king, the queen, the jack up in North, the 10 in South, the 9 in South, the 8 in North. That's a lot of connected honors, isn't it? And the long side of the diamond suit is in South's hand. Whenever I have a long suit that is lopsided, I'm going to want to make sure I have an absolute way to get back to the long side later. I'm going to want to get to South's hand later, potentially in a different suit. And that different suit might be the heart suit. So if I want to make sure I have transportation to South's hand later, then I'm going to decide to keep the ace of hearts in South for later. And therefore on trick 1, I am going to play and win with the king of hearts in North. I will on trick 1 win the trick with the king of hearts and play the 9 of hearts in South. That way I keep the ace of hearts and south for those long diamonds in case I need it later. So that's a lot of information, isn't it? All in one little step. But it is something over time that you will start to see. So we've only played trick one, but we made a decision about where to win it, and that was in north with the king of hearts. All right, now we're moving on to the third step. We're going to pull the opponent's trump from them. We have 8 cards in our spade trump suit. They are evenly distributed, 4 and 4. Okay. The opponents have 5 cards, and they are very likely to split 3-2, and we always make our plan based on that probability. So the declarer should be able to pull 3 rounds of spade trump and void the opponents of their spades, and declare you own the ace, the king, and the queen of spades. Now, there is no high card from the short side here. You have equal length in both of those sides of the table. So what I would do is I would win 3 spade tricks using the ace, the king, and the queen. Now, on trick 1, I won with the king of hearts up here in north. So I'm going to start my spade winning in north just because it's convenient. I'll first play the king of spades and put the 7 on it, and I'm watching the opponents, and hopefully they're following suit, right? Then I will play the queen of spades in north and put the 8 of spades on it in south, and hopefully both opponents have in fact followed suit again, which means that they only have 1 spade against me, and they can't win it. My ace is going to win the third trick, so I leave the 3 of spades in north to the ace in south. And now I've played 3 rounds of trump, and this is what I look like after 4 total tricks. I have grayed out cards so that you can see their places are still held. So now we have gathered our first thoughts, won an early reasonable trick, and we have pulled the opponent's trump. We're up to step 4 in our plan. This is the meat, right? We've already said the declarer has a long and promotable suit in diamonds, right? And that diamond suit has 7 cards. It is missing only the ace. That's going to be really helpful here. All right, and you have so many good connected middle honors. You have 5 of them, right? You're going to play the diamonds to push out the ace, and that'll create extra winners just on length as well. How many diamond winners do you think South expects to promote to winner status? I think the answer is 3, right? You can only win as many cards as you have on your longest side of the table. That's the length of the number of tricks you can take. But you're going to give one of these honor cards up to their ace, and then the other 3 honor cards are going to be promoted to winner. Now, remember, we said you had a second suit that had promotable cards in it, the club suit. It's also long. I don't think the length is going to help you as much here because you don't have high spot cards. You don't even have the jack or the 10. You certainly don't have the 9 or the 8. I only think you're going to get 1 winner out of this club suit. I think you're going to be able to play one of these honors, pushing out the ace, and then the other honor's a winner, and you're just going to have to let go of the rest of the length of the club suit. You're going to have to give up something. You can't win everything. I would put my concentration in the diamond suit, and that's how you decide which of those suits to attack first. Since diamond has 5 connected honors, and you have 3 guaranteed winners, once you get rid of the ace, that's the one you have to go after. Clubs, you only have 2 connected honors. You're only going to get 1 of those honors. So because the diamond suit needs to be played potentially very well to make sure that you don't misplay, I would attack the diamonds first. It has more potential winners, and it needs the extra attention to make sure you don't misplay it. Therefore, that's where we start. So now we're up to trick 5. South, you won the last trick, let's say, with your ace of spades in your own hand. Now, you're going to lead bravely the jack of diamonds in north and a low diamond in south. So lead, you're going to play high card from the short side here. Technically, they're all the same cards, aren't they? King, queen, 10, jack, 9, 8. They're all the same card. But for form purposes, let's win this trick with the honor on the shorter side first. So that means I'm going to play the 9 of diamonds over to the jack. That's what I'm going to do. And watch the opponents play. I'm going to tell you that East and West probably should duck this trick, right? Don't make it so easy for the declarer. Don't win the first round of diamonds, all right? So North, your jack of diamonds has just won a trick. The opponents have promoted it for you. That's one of the 3 diamonds you're expecting to set up. So now we go to trick number 6. And South, you're in North's hand. You could play the 8 if you want, but you know what the heck? They're all the same card. I'm just going to leave the 5 from North to South's king and watch the opponents. Now let's assume that East plays low, but West plays the ace of diamonds over your king of diamonds. Okay. Well, you did not win that trick, South, right? East and West won the trick, but take a look at South's hand. Since the jack was already played, that means that South's queen and 10 are the next diamond winners. They were just promoted by West when West took the ace of diamonds out of play. Now South's queen and 10 of diamonds are the next winning tricks in the diamond suit. They are promoted. You have to remember that for later, South. There's a lot of remembering you have to do here, right? All right, so now we're up to trick 7. After trick 6, this is what your hands look like, all right? And West is on lead on trick 7, having just taken the ace of diamonds. So West, you started the auction in hearts, right? Remember down here, you led the queen of hearts as the opening lead, and North played the king, all right? Now, South won the trick in North with that king of hearts on trick 1. Where's the missing ace? I'll tell you that West doesn't have it. West does not have the missing ace. How do you know that? Because when West led the queen of hearts, remember when you make an opening lead against a trump contract, the suit you lead does not have the ace at the top. That's one of the rules we learned in our opening lead video. When you make an opening lead against declares trump contract, the suit you lead, you are saying, nope, I don't have the ace in the suit. I don't have the ace. I don't have the ace. So we know West did not have the ace of hearts. West knows he doesn't have the ace of hearts. But West actually knows who has the ace right now. Does know. He knows South has to have it. How? How does West know that? Because on trick 1, when West led the queen of hearts as opening lead and South played North's king of hearts, if East held the ace of hearts, East absolutely would have played it. Absolutely. Why? Because he would have captured North's king, and then East would have led hearts back to West because West is holding the next heart winner, the jack of hearts. Right? Does that logically make sense? So East does not have the ace of hearts. East would have played it all the way back on trick 1. Therefore, South has to have the ace of hearts. So now West has to think about this. West is probably going to say, you know what? I'm not leading the heart. Why should I give this to South willy-nilly? Not only that, but if I lead the heart, it will automatically put South on lead where those promoted diamonds surely sit. Why make it so easy? So West is going to say, nope, I'm not leading a heart. All right. Instead, West is going to look at North's dummy and see what's left. If I were West, I think I would lead a club. Why? Why would I lead a club? Well, I don't have any spades if I'm West. They were already pulled. I don't want to lead a heart. I don't want to lead a diamond if I have one because that's what South was working on to promote. What's left is clubs. And if I lead a club, what I'm hoping for, once I see that king and queen in North, is that I'm hoping that East, my partner, actually holds the ace. I'm really hoping that. It's worth a shot. We're up to trick 7. We need to move on some winners if we still have some. So if I'm East, I think I would lead a low club. And if I'm South the declare, you know what? I'm absolutely playing the queen. Not the king, but I'm going to play the queen of clubs. Absolutely. Why? Remember, this was a promotable suit. Remember, you had the king, queen of clubs, and you were going to promote clubs at one point to push out the ace. That's what you're still doing, but West started it for you. Since West started this promotional trail for you, you might as well take advantage of it. Play the queen. And I'll tell you that East does, in fact, have the ace of clubs. And East is going to win this trick. But here's the good news. Isn't the king of hearts now a promoted winner for later? Yeah. So West did this club promotion for you right in the middle of while you were doing your diamond promotion. But West helped you out. That's okay. Let him help you out. You now have a promoted club winner that'll be ready to go later. But on this trick, East has won with the ace of clubs, and that puts East on lead. What will East lead now? Well, you don't have a lot of choices, East, on trick 8. Anything you lead is going to give South the lead. South is going to win it. If you lead a heart, by now you have figured out that the ace of hearts must be in South because your partner in West did not lead from the ace of hearts. By now you know that South was working on diamonds, and so if you lead a diamond, you're just helping the promoted suit. And if you lead a club, well, you can see the next club winner in the king in North. Oh, and you don't have any spade trump anyway, East. East doesn't like any choice at all here, all right? So what I'm going to say is, why don't you and I agree to what East is going to lead, just so that we're all doing the same thing. Let's assume that East just leads a club. At the very least, what it does is it puts North as the winner. What East doesn't really want to do, if she can help it, is to make South the winner on this trick, because it gives her access immediately to the diamonds that she was promoting. Let's just put North in on lead from this trick. So East leads a baby club. South is going to play a low club. North's king of clubs wins trick 8. And after trick 8, here's what we have left in the hand. We have 5 tricks left. And if you look at the hand closely, you have a spade trump winner on both sides of the table. You have a heart card on both sides of the table. You've got 1 diamond in North and 2 diamonds in South. You've got 2 clubs in North and 1 club in South. This is what it looks like. But you've regained the lead, South, and you have work to do, don't you? You're in the home stretch now. East and West promoted that king of clubs for you. Fantastic. You, South, promoted diamonds until East and West played their ace, and now you're sitting on 2 promotable diamonds. You're ready to take the remaining winners. So here we go. Let's finish out the diamond development by cashing the 2 remaining promoted tricks. How do you do that? You're in North's hand with the king of diamonds on the king of clubs on the last trick. Lead North's 8 of diamonds to South's promoted queen. Terrific. Then cash South's promoted 10 of diamonds, and let's discard one of those lousy clubs up in North. Might as well, right? And that's tricks 9 and 10. And now we only have 3 cards left. There are 3 tricks remaining, 11, 12, and 13. South has won the last trick in her own hand with those 2 diamond promotions. And now you look at what's left. And here's the problem. South, if you lead the ace of hearts, great, you're going to win it. If you lead the 9 of spades, you're going to put the other spade on it in North and you're going to win it. The place you have a problem is clubs. You're going to have to play a club and lose it. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. There's no way that you can get rid of a club and trump it. So since there's no way around it, how about you just do it right now? Keep your winners in hand that you still have, and let's just hand East and West the club trick they deserve. So if I'm South, I'm leading the 7, putting the 6 on it in North, and East-West win this trick. But now it doesn't matter what East and West do. South has a heart outright winner and has a spade trump. So no matter whatever East and West lead on trick 12, South's going to win it. So whatever way they decide to play it, you're going to win the heart ace, you're going to play a final trump, and those are your 13 tricks. So how did South do on this? South needs to lose 3 tricks on this hand, but that's okay because she'll still make her contract. South is going to have to lose to the ace of clubs, right? When you were promoting they were promoting the club suit, they took their ace, and now just now on trick 12, you gave them another club. You had to. There was no way around it. They won their jack of clubs. You also were promoting the diamond suit, and so East and West won their ace of diamonds. 3 tricks. You took 10, making 4, book plus 4. That's the contract, and that's what you needed to do. So now we're working a little harder in class 2 than we were in class 1, right? But we are still following the plan. And this is going to take some time to get faster at and to be able to organize your thoughts a little more clearly. So today we talked about promotion. Promotion is when you have a suit that is missing a high honor or maybe even more than 1 high honor, but you have good middle connected cards right underneath that missing honor or honors. That's what promotion is. You don't have Swiss cheese. You don't have missing gaps. You have connected, boom, 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 honor cards underneath the honor that you're missing. That's an important distinction about promotion. It's not when you have an honor missing the next honor, having the honor after that. That's not promotion. They are connected honors, however many you have. They could be just 2 connected honors, like in this heart suit here. They could be a whole slew of them, like in a club suit. But as soon as you finish step 3 in your plan, pulling trump from the opponents, this is where you attack your promotable suit. You might stop and think, how many tricks do I really reasonably expect to get out of this promotable suit? And you play a high honor to entice the opponents to play their even higher honor. And you keep playing this promotable suit until either the opponents play that high honor, getting it out of the way so that you have still winning tricks left, or if they've held on to that ace for a long time, you have to know when to stop playing the suit. If you know you're only going to get 3 cards out of this suit, stop playing after you've won 3 tricks if they still haven't played their high card. Opponents, don't easily give up your high honor. Don't do it on the first round of their promotion. Why make it easy for them? At this point of your bridge career, go ahead and take it on the second round. We're going to talk more down the road about how to think about how long to hold up your ace, but that'll come in time, okay? So I'm hoping that these 2 examples in your packet will help you finish out the rest of the packet. You'll have some thinking to do. You will have promotable suits on those examples in the rest of your packet. You'll also have some length in there. And at times you're going to have to decide which one do I do first, but also look for promotable suits that happen to be long anyway. When they're combined, it makes life a little easier. So go ahead and work on the rest of the packet. Send me emails if you have questions. We're going to work on this again in our class day and on our follow-up day. All right. Let me know if you need any help, and I'll talk to you on class day. Bye-bye.